Welcome back to Front Porch Politics. I'm Tim Boyum. For our last story, we head up to Bryson City and Swain County for a story there that caught my eye. And as soon as you walk in the Board of Elections office, you'll see why.
Bryson City's terrain and charm make it a unique North Carolina gem. Politically, it's unique too, closer to 3 other state capitals than Raleigh in Tennessee, Georgia, and South Carolina.
I have asked Cindy if we can reserve the business training center on these 2 dates.
And inside this tiny county board of elections office, another unique aspect.
I don't know that we need to get it actually catered.
Just 2 full-time workers for some 10,000 voters.
It is a very small office.
And Adam Burns is barely old enough to buy a beer.
I have children his age, a little older, a little younger.
When the Board of Elections Director position opened in Swain County this spring, county officials knew applications would be scarce.
We collected about 5 or 6, give or take.
Some 3 hours away in Atlanta, California native Adam Burns pondered his own future.
I made a decision to kind of apply for county and to some extent state elections jobs, and I knew that it could lead me to a place that was, either in a big city or someplace more remote.
So we rented a car and made a trip up the mountain.
It was so windy that this little car I was in was being moved to the side of the lane, and I kept having to correct. I got there, Kay was in the office on that day, the office assistant. I'd gotten there early, talked to her. I was all dressed up. I'd actually borrowed a friend's jacket. And the interview, I remember, just went pretty well. And I got back in my car and drove back because I had to go to school the next morning.
You heard that right. School. At 21 years old, Adam was still weeks away from graduating from Emory. But Swain County officials didn't even flinch.
Did you know when you first read his resume that he was still in college?
Yes.
You did?
We did, yes.
I think I accepted mine during finals. So,
Really?
Yeah, no. I remember I was studying with one of my friends, and and I was having to study for my exam and decide whether to take this job at the same time.
Spoiler alert, he took the job, but couldn't start until May, once he got that diploma, of course. The Swain County situation is unique, but the challenges of hiring and keeping election directors is far from rare.
There are still a lot of folks who have not accepted the results of the 2020 election.
A year ago this month, we met with State Elections Director Karen Brinson Bell. At the time, 45 county elections directors had retired or quit since 2019. A year later, things are worse.
We continue to have more vacancies, more turnover in county election directors. We started tracking back in 2019 because we saw people beginning to exit the profession, though we saw the biggest uptick after the 2020 election. And at this point, we have, by the end of the year, we will have 52 changes in county election directors since 2019.
Why are they leaving? Last year, while visiting Bell and a former county director, they detailed the lawsuits, massive public records requests about the 2020 election, accusations, and even death threats.
They went from even sending hateful, somewhat threatening emails or record requests to making phone calls to our reception line, and at one point even indicated that someone would be murdered.
How are you feeling about the training?
Back in Bryson City, they aren't dealing with death threats or massive records requests, but they do have their own issues.
Voting machines, we need new ones. The ones we currently have are getting pretty old, and we're one of just 3 counties in the state that still uses them.
We hope that this will be the last election that we have to use these old machines. They're over 10 years old, and we will be asking for new machines, the funding for it.
But paying for that in one of the smallest counties in the state is a challenge. Just one of many challenges small offices face.
We don't have specialists. We don't have people for campaign finance, voter registration, GIS, that kind of stuff that bigger departments will have. So we kind of have to know how to do everything.
Speaking of challenges, I had a more practical question about a 2-person office.
Does it alarm you that if, a stomach virus went through this office the week of the election?
That's one of those things where we'll cross that bridge if we come to it, but I'm confident in his ability to step in and act as director when I'm not here. Well, I got to train myself first on how to train them.
Despite being just 21 years old, Adam Burns has a calming confidence.
I remember the last week or two, maybe before I actually started the job, there were some thoughts about how am I going to do this. But you know, when I got here, and I mean, they didn't just throw me behind a desk on day one and say, "Here, run the department."
I would give him an A+ so far. He shows up confident and willing and eager to read and learn. He's a very quick study. He actually teaches us more about the statistics that go along with kind of state, regional, national kind of political statistics.
He's navigating some new waters, and he came from Emory University, so they're in the heart of Atlanta, and now he's in rural Bryson City, and so even those kind of adjustments, I think he's done really well.
You never guess he's 21 if you didn't know.
I agree. So you're not the first person to say that, so I think it's...
That's not to say a 21-year-old couldn't do the job, because he is, but I'm just saying,
know.
I think it will surprise people when they hear that.
Well, he's a serious person, and that lends itself to the serious job that he has.
He's serious, hardworking, but has some self-awareness too.
Well, I look older than I am, which helps. I've had gray hair since I was 13.
It happens to the best of us, Adam. So I've heard.
All right, we're about out of time. As always, thank you so much for watching. As we always say, we got to hit the road to find more incredible stories about incredible people here in the great state of North Carolina. We'll catch you next time.